Hi guys, this is Meenu. Welcome back to my channel Storytale. This week I read 2 romance books because of course this is a romantic week. It's Valentine's week and it is kind of obligatory to read at least one romantic book. So I read 2. I am normally not a fan of romance contemporary books. I'm more into paranormals, as you already know. I like those kind of romance because it has some kind of drama or some kind of paranormal thing happening which makes it more interesting. Contemporary romance can be a little bit mundane for me, but still I wanted to give it a try because I did not read much contemporary romance book and I wanted to just try something new this week. But of course, as my luck have it, I end up reading one paranormal romance book anyway. I didn't know it was paranormal when I picked it up. I thought it was a contemporary romance. I think I did not read the synopsis that better. I just wanted to read that book because it was so popular. So I wanted to just give it a read, but it turned out to be a paranormal romance even though I thought it was contemporary. No worries, at least I ended up reading one contemporary romance. So the first book that I read this week was The Invitation by Keeland. This is a contemporary romance, very out of my league, but still I enjoyed it. This was a very fun read, to be honest. I have read Keeland before with the Christmas pack, but that was co-written by Penelope Ward too, so I'm not sure how much of the part was Keeland, and this is my first Keeland book which is totally written by her, and I'm gonna say that I was actually impressed. At first, I thought this book was gonna be a little bit cliche. It is gonna have the same tone like other contemporary books, especially about a couple who meets at weddings. I thought it was gonna be like that kind of story, which is very obvious. But to be honest, this was kind of a surprising read and I actually liked it. By reading the synopsis, you may think that this is a Cinderella retelling, but it is not. I mean, except the first meet, I guess that has a kind of vibe to it. But other than that, it is nothing like Cinderella. It is kind of opposite of it because the heroine in this book is very different from Cinderella. She does not need a prince to save herself. She can do that herself. She's very strong and very smart and very independent, and I really like that about her. The story is about Hudson and Stella. Hudson is the owner of this investment company who likes to invest in small ventures, and Stella is a perfumist. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the word. I do not remember the word exactly, but she's someone who makes perfume. For the first time in reading about such profession, I knew there must be some person who makes perfume or something, but other than that, I do not know anything about it. I didn't give it a thought that much. But in this book, I loved that aspect. I loved how passionate she was about her perfumes. I loved how passionate she was about smells. I absolutely loved it. She is a very kind person who likes to just give chocolates to people who are sad, and she makes her own happiness, which I loved. I really loved her character in this book. She's kind of shy and compassionate, but that does not mean that she's gonna let anyone walk all over her. She's very strong in her opinion. She knows what she wants, and there's no one that she needs to rely on. The other thing that I loved about this book was the concept of secret diaries. I didn't know something like that actually existed. I mean, you can read someone else's diary by buying it online. I mean, that is just fun way to do things. I think that was a very interesting concept, and of course I'm gonna look into it. I do want to read someone else's diary, even though it can be a little bit tragic, it can be a little bit depressing, and maybe sometimes boring too. I do not know what I'm gonna find, but I think that was a very good concept, especially how it played into the story. In the end, it was such an amazing reveal. I absolutely loved that. This book was very surprising, like I said, and how that little diary played into this book, and what she finds out about her ex-boyfriend, and what she finds about Hudson and his ex-wife and his best friend. Everything, it was just so interesting that I loved it. Hudson too was a very great character. He was not just a handsome hunk who does not have any feelings or something, or who does not talk about feelings. He's just being cool and everything, just being mysterious and everything. I don't know, like that. I mean, it works in paranormal fantasy romance, but in contemporary, no, it does not work that way. And I actually liked that Hudson was not like that. He was kind of emotional. He does have his own emotion. He does feel things. He judges people according to that, and I think that is very realistic. You do judge people based on your past, so I think that was very realistic character for him. And in the end, how he handled the situation, it was very mature of him. I think it was a very adult way to do things and very realistic, to be honest. Like I said, I really enjoyed his character because he was just more than a handsome hunk guy. Now let's talk about chemistry. I really liked their first meet. It was very Cinderella-like. Like I said, the beginning was a little bit Cinderella-like. It was actually instant attraction, but again, this is a very slow burn romance. The kiss or anything did not happen until the 60% of the book. Both of these characters have been through a lot. Both of them have failed relationships in their past, and both of them are learning from it, and that is why they have a little bit problem with stepping into the new relationship. But still, how they handles the whole situation, how they handles each other, how they treat each other is very adult way, very mature way, and that is what I loved about their romance. It was very understanding, very mature, and very practical. For me, this was a 4-star read because it was not perfect. Still, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was a very romantic read. My second read this week was Layla by Colleen Hoover. This book has been in my TBR for a very long time. I wanted to read it in December when it actually came, but I didn't actually get time to read it. So I thought I'd read it for the Valentine's week, and I finally did. And it turns out to be beyond my expectation. This book was something else entirely. When I first started it, I thought it's gonna go one way like the other contemporary romance books, but it is actually very different from that. At first, when Leeds, our main character, from whose point of view this book is told, meets Layla, our other main character, he was instantly smitten by her, and it was not one-sided. Both of them were into each other from the very beginning, and I find that very odd. I do not know why I do not like that kind of thing, but still they were all over each other from the first moment they see each other. And from that moment their love story starts. They just run away together and live this happy life where they were content, having sex and everything, and they were just happy with each other until one thing happens that actually changes everything. I cannot say which incident, but this was a very crucial point of the book. From this the story actually starts, and it actually starts to get a little bit better. The first half I didn't enjoy it that much. It was kind of boring for me because I do not reconnect with this instant love thing. But from the moment that incident happened, the book actually kind of became very interesting. Layla started to actually change. Her whole behavior, her whole demeanor was changed altogether. She was this free, fun, loving girl, and then she's turned into this morbid person who is very conscious about her weight and everything, very conscious about her body, which was total opposite of what Layla was before the incident. And that is a very important, crucial part. If you pay attention to it, you can actually realize that something is very wrong with Layla, and it is actually the truth. You learn about the reason behind Layla's sudden change by the end of the book, and again that was a very interesting twist. I really like that. I did not expect it again. There's another character in this book which is very interesting. Her name is Willow. Leeds finds herself very confused between these two women. He was in love with Layla before the incident, and now this sudden change is making him kind of question his love for her, and he is getting more attracted towards Willow. He is more into her now, and that is somehow makes him a kind of a dick. Even Layla, I think she was kind of overbearing. I didn't like her that much. She was way too clingy, way too, I do not know what she was. I didn't like her that much. That Insta love, that Insta connection, I'm not that into much, so that is why I didn't like her. Her actions were very strange from the very first moment. I didn't like it that much. She was a little bit too much for me. Even the romance between the two, I was not much into it, and their love story was kind of forced and out of nowhere, so that is why I was not that hooked. Anyway, no matter what I think of the characters and the love story, I really enjoyed this book. I think the plot was very interesting. I really loved the twists and turns and everything. It was a very unusual read for me, and I actually liked that. Actually finished it in one sitting. I was so hooked. For me, this was a 3.5 read. It could have been perfect if the characters would have been perfect and a little bit of the chemistry would have worked for me. But anyway, I enjoyed the story and the twist and turns. That is why I'm gonna recommend it. So these were my reads for the Valentine's week. Both of these books were very different from each other, but still enjoyed them. Both of them were actually very interesting. I really had a great time reading this book, and really hope you had a great time watching this video. If you did, please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon if you want to get notified of my future videos. Until then, have a happy Valentine's Day.